The news of the burning down of the Kumba District Hospital has left many Cameroonians of goodwill in utter disbelief, as they find it hard to understand how we got ourselves to this level of inhumanity and barbarism, where a medical facility that provides health care to all and sundry will be set ablaze with patients burnt alive on their sick bed. How did we really sink so low? Today, propaganda has taken center stage. Accusation and counter-accusations are being traded between pro-separatists and the government as to who is responsible for the atrocities. With the problem of selective perception, everyone seems to be interpreting the situation based on which side in the conflict they sympathize with. As the days go by, we continue arguing and more atrocities are being committed. If we are sincere with ourselves and we look deep within us, we will realize that atrocities are being committed by both the Cameroon military and the separatist fighters. Think of the young men who were pulled out of their homes in Babuti quarters in Boya and shot dead in cold blood. The population pointed accusing fingers at the government and their military. Administrative officials stayed quiet as if to say, grumble and stay, what will you do? It was a similar situation with other young men who were killed in the Sandpit neighborhood in Boya, allegedly by the Cameroonian military. Then came the incident in which the bishop of the Diocese of Mamfe, Monseigneur Andrew Nkea, maintained that the military shot indiscriminately at the church house, killing a Kenyan priest who was on duty there. The Cameroon government denied the allegation and blamed it on the separatists. On the other side of the divide, there are many innocent people who have lost fingers, with some losing a complete arm, cut off by separatist fighters who see it as a means of forcing the population into submission for their imposed ghost towns and lockdowns to be effective. From the foregoing, it can be seen that the message is clear. Violence only begets more violence. Since the head of state chose the military option to resolve the Anglophone crisis instead of an inclusive and frank dialogue, it only exacerbated the problem. The Anglophone problem has proven to be unique, and the government must realize that it cannot be approached like the Boko Haram insurgency in the northern parts of the country. Why do we keep on lying to ourselves instead of acknowledging the truth? Why do we continue to leave the object and follow the shadow? This is exactly why for over 3 years now, what started like ordinary street protests has metamorphosed into a civil war that has reached unacceptable and inhuman proportions. It is not by pretending that all is well that all will be well. Bringing all the students from the Mutengene Police College to march in Boya on the 11th of February in the name of the youths of the town, does it really solve the problem? The cameras will capture the images and Yaoundé will think that there was a massive mobilization in Boya, therefore Boya is fine. At the end of the day, who is fooling who? For over a week, people have remained indoors in the 2 English-speaking regions of the country in fear of the unknown following a lockdown imposed by separatists. Does that not convince us that the problem is more serious than we are willing to admit? We need to stop all this hypocrisy and be truthful with ourselves. Condemning atrocities is not enough. Every Cameroonian of goodwill must be sincere with themselves and put hands on deck for more concrete measures to be taken for a return to normalcy. If not, then we are headed for self-destruction.
Leaders who have been incarcerated and whose incarceration escalated the violence and radicalized and recruited more, they should be released. I am telling you that if by 6 p.m. the head of state grants amnesty to these released people, before 1 week, things would get at least 30 to 40% solved. Release incarcerated people. When you incarcerate moderates, you give room for radicals. Nature does not allow a vacuum. I think that by proceeding that way, grant amnesty, sit round the table, and bring your own conditions. In effect, you see, what I see is that the problem in these 2 regions may not be what will sink Cameroon, like Weber said. It may be what will save Cameroon. The country may learn from this crisis, and this will become as a solvent to problems in the entire nation. Because whatever happens, there is going to be a round the table. It may be now, it may be in 2 years, it may be in 10 years, it may be in 50 years. There is this problem would only be solved round a table. So if we are going to end up round the table, why not make it lofty, smart, soft, and good for everybody by sparing lives now and sitting round that table now? I don't want to speculate on the outcome of sitting round the table. Let us sit round the table now and have this issue sorted out. I want to take you back to a proverb in my dialect. The proverb says that you don't call a dog with a stick in your hand. When you have a stick in your hand and you call a dog, no matter how friendly that dog may be with you, no matter how well that dog knows you, no matter what trust the dog may have in you, at the moment when it identifies you with a stick, it would not come. Even if you throw what bait to it. If I look at this proverb, I think it applies to the current socio-political problem. There have been misunderstanding. Opportunities and chances to solve this problem have been missed. And people have been radicalized. People have lost their lives. They've lost property. Government has lost soldiers. Civilians have died. Fighters have died. All of these people are Cameroonians. In the end, I saw a cartoon a few days ago showing two people, I will not call their names here for obvious reasons, sitting around a table and putting the guns on their feet, under the table, and dialoguing. And there was a dove that said, was it worth all the killing only to end up round the table? Government has a duty to preserve the unity of the state, the integrity of the state, the safety of people and property. But who really is government? It's the people who make a government. If the people who are governed by a government say that we want to sit and re-examine this, the government is obliged to listen. L'autorité de l'État, yes, mais l'État c'est qui? It's the people. The government must sit down and listen to the people. Don't generalize all problems. You have 10 children in a family, 2 children stand up and they rebel against you and start acting awkwardly, and you want to generalize and say, oh, your problems are not peculiar, you are 10 of you, all of you have problems. Listen to the 2 children first. Say, okay, your 8 brothers and sisters are okay, they don't have problem. Let me listen to you and hear what your problem is. And if you can learn from that and extend to the other 8 children, fine. You can't just say, oh, you are all 10 of you. If I'm giving you people 100 francs a day to eat and the other 8 are satisfied, why are you not satisfied? No, listen to that child. That child may have a peculiar problem that makes 100 francs a day insufficient for he or she. I think that it is the inability for people to face reality. A government is not seen as weak if you give a listening ear to what your citizens. We're all Cameroonians. We'll be Cameroonians. We'll die Cameroonians. There's no weakness in giving a listening ear. That's what I think. And so, to answer your question, I think that without being an expert in the domain, I think that there should be de-escalation on both sides. De-escalation on the part of the state, I would not say totally demilitarize, but please reduce the military presence. We grow up to know that the military is there for two things, either to kill or be killed. We are used to the police. Put police people all over. Remove the military. At my age, I'm above 60. I get scared when I see a soldier, especially carrying a gun. What of my children? What of my grandchildren? De-escalate military presence. If we are going to sit round the table